I hope that I'm audible. So, my name is Lasitha. I'm a 50th medical student currently studying medicine at KDU in Sri Lanka. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the entry requirements to getting at KDU as a local student. So, there are a lot of you that they keep asking me about the possibility to study medicine at KDU. Now the thing is, since few months ago you were not able to apply to study medicine as a day scholar, but now the rules have changed and you are able to apply to study medicine at KDU. Now there are a lot of requirements needed to fulfill your application process and to be selected. So we'll walk through all of those things with you today. And obviously, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat down below, and I'll make sure to answer those questions as they come along. Okay, so with that said, let's start with the most general requirements that are needed for you guys to apply here at KDU. So we can start with the general grades that you're required to study. Now, the first of all, you need to be a citizen of Sri Lanka, and you need to be between the age of 17 to 24. So that is for everyone who's doing the A levels right now. You have to be between that age. If you are a science graduate, that's different. You can be up to the age of 27 by the date of application. So in terms of grades, you need 2 C's and 1 S in biology, chemistry, and physics respectively. And that should be within the year that the application process is going to happen. So if it's 2000, now it's 2024, people that have applied for 2023, they've done the A-levels at that time, they're eligible to apply to this round of application. And if you have done, that's for the local syllabus. So if you've done the advanced level syllabus like Cambridge, or if you've done the foreign qualifications like the Excel and so on, you can have 2 C's and 1 D for biology, chemistry, and physics respectively. So keep in mind that these are the minimum requirements required to apply. So if you had 2 C's and a D, you can apply and they will consider your application. But the reality is quite different, because like from Intake 41, which was the first cohort of students that were taken to study medicine privately as local students, we had 956 applications, out of which only 120 were selected. And when you look at all the grades that were of the students that had applied, there was a huge variety of different grades, starting from the 2 C's and the D, all the way to people who had A stars for their foreign qualifications. So the reality is quite different, because out of the 956 students that applied, only 120 were selected, and those were the people with the highest grades. So if you've done the foreign qualifications, A stars, like 3 A stars or 3 A's or 2 A's, 1 B, those were the people that were selected instead of the 2 C's and 1 D students. So when it came to the local students with the Z scores, if you have 2 C's and S, most likely it's going to be anywhere from 0.4 to 0.5 or 0.6. And the reality again was quite different. There were people that applied with Z scores of 1.8896. That was the highest Z score that was available for last year's intake. And that went on, there was basically a huge increase in the Z scores. So that's to keep in mind, because again, they will select the people with the highest Z scores. So last year went from 1.40 all the way up to 1.88. So all the other people, even though they were eligible to apply, they were not selected. So that's the reality. If you guys want to have the best chance of applying, make sure that you're within that criteria of 1.8 all the way to up to 1.4. If you are much lower than that, if you're lower than 1, chances are you're not going to be selected. So keep in mind that, and if you have good grades, then apply. Otherwise, I would say it's just a waste of your time. It's not going to be worth your time, and it's going to be a waste of time. And more than that, the hope of you getting into medicine is just going to be distracted because of that. So make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance to be selected by passing your A levels with the best grades that you can get. Okay, so if it comes to the point where you don't have the right grades, then you still have the chance to do the second try or the third try and improve on your grades, and then come back and apply for the next following set of intake of students for KDU. So with that said, A levels should be set within within one sitting, which means if you have done the first try and you got, let's say, 2 A's and a C, and you want to retake now your A levels to get better grades, and you get, let's say, 2 A's and 1 B, 1 A and 2 B's, you can't take the A from the first try and combine it together with the grades of your second try. So the grades of your second try are the ones that are going to be considered. So in that case, the 1A and the 2 B's. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind, that when you're sitting all the exams, those grades are the ones that are going to be selected and presented to the university. So, and then also when we look at the common general test, you need to make sure that you have a minimum of 30 marks. And your English language exam, you need to have a minimum of a credit pass there. Okay, and there's another rule that you can't be married, so you have to be unmarried in order to apply. So those are the general requirements needed to apply at KDU. Now, one more thing that they present a lot later in the process, it's about the money issue. So the course fees to the university last year was 12,500,000 for the full 5 years, where you're supposed to pay 2.5 million every single year. Now this year they're updated for next year, from January of 2025, it's going to be 15 million, and you'll have to pay 3 million per year. So they assess that later on in the process, when it comes to the stage of the interview, where you should be able to produce basic statements where your parents and yourself are able to pay the amount given, so the 3 million per year, and you should present at least 2 years worth of money to KDU, showing that you will be able to pay for at least the first 2 years of the course. So that will be now 6 million. Okay, so keep that in mind, that that's something that will be assessed during the process, and you should be prepared. But if you get selected, by the time it comes to your interviews, you should have those statements there to show that you have the right amount of money to apply and to pay for the course fees for the first 2 years. Okay, with that said, let's move on to the next set of requirements. So we spoke a little bit about the grades that will be required as well. So keep in mind, it's all about competition. Even though you meet the minimum requirements, they will only select the best people. And based on last year's numbers, out of the 956 people that applied, only 120 were selected. So most likely it's going to be the same the next following year. So for people that's now applying for Intake 42, who are going to be starting in January of 2025. Okay, so give yourself the best possibility. If you're someone who's still waiting to apply, still waiting to do the A levels and you want to get in Intake 43, keep in mind that you need the best grades possible. It doesn't mean that it's because it's a private degree, you can pay money and get into the university with low grades. That is not the case. You still need to prove that you have the right grades in order to study medicine. Okay, so if you're a foreign student, or if you're doing a foreign A-levels like qualifications like Cambridge or Edexcel, again you need at least 2A's 1B to have a chance to be selected. Okay, so that's the first stage. Once you meet all of those criteria, the next following stage is that you will have to sit some examinations. There will be an English paper, there's an IQ paper, and they'll also be looking your general knowledge in medicine. So there will be some science questions, and you'll be assessed on that. Okay, so once you pass those, then the next thing that they're going to be doing is a small interview, where they're going to basically looking at. Let me just take it out for you. Everything that I'm saying to you guys right now, you can find on the KDU website. Even if you go today on the KDU website, you find all of this information there. So if there's anything that you didn't understand, you can go on the website, read the information for yourself, and still, if you don't understand, you can still ask questions directly to me by posting them as comments in this video, or you can call the admissions office and ask those questions directly to them. So the best thing to do, obviously there are certain questions that I'm not able to answer myself. So the best thing is if you can call directly the admissions office, they will be the best people to answer your question, especially if you have very specific questions related to your grades. There were people asking about the fact that they didn't receive their grades yet, whether they can apply and show their grades later on. That's obviously something that the university has to decide, because there are no informations related to these things on the website that have been published for me to tell you guys. So the best thing is to call them and get the actual updated facts from the university itself. Okay, so with that said, let's talk about a little bit about the interview. Now the thing, how you're going to be marked for this interview is that 90% of the marks that you're going to achieve from your interview come from your educational qualifications. So they'll be looking at your grades and mark you based on the grades that you got. Secondly, the other 10% of the marks come from the other achievement that you have achieved throughout your educational life. So for example, in sports, there are 5 marks given for sports, where if you have competed internationally, you'll be given the full 5 marks. If you're competing at the national level, you get 3 marks. At the provincial level, you get 1 mark. So what does that mean for the people who have not done any sports? Obviously they don't get any marks there. Okay, so the best thing is, if you want to have the best possibility to be selected, make sure that you get involved in some sports activities and to try to achieve the best level that you can in that sport as well. So it's not just about it's not just about your grades, your A-level grades. It's not just about studying. It's so much more than that. Okay, and the other 5 marks are going to be given for leadership, whether you've been cadetting, you've been doing scouting or girl guiding. So these things that are considered, and marks are allocated for those as well. So again, all of these informations are available at the KDU website as of now. They might not be there later, so until they are there on the website. So make the best use of those information, download the papers, do whatever you can, and look at those things right now just before they disappear from the website. So, and then they'll basically interviewing you. So they'll be looking at whether you're going to be a suitable medical student, whether you're going to be a good medical student that is going to make you proud. Okay, so they'll be looking at your attitude. Do you have a positive attitude toward medicine? Your personality will be assessed, your communicational skills, and also your willingness to study medicine. So those are things that obviously you can be prepared for. Like they could ask questions, why do you want to study medicine? Or why not something else related to healthcare, like nursing, instead of doing medicine? So these are things that you can prepare for. and have some constructed answers for those. So make sure that you go through some of those questions in order to build up your confidence. And also, on the day of the exam, you'll be very stressed. So to prevent all of that, the best way is to prepare yourself prior to the interview. So that's how you're going to be given 100 marks, and the way you're going to be assessed overall for your interview process. So again, like I said, it's not just grades. So grades, sports, they'll be looking at whether you've done anything in leadership, the interview process, and also the exams, the IQ test, the general knowledge in science and medicine, and also the there'll be a small psychiatry related test. Those, again, there are different papers and examples that you can find on the website. So I would say go through the website, have a look at the sample papers given, so that you can practice those questions. And if you can find anything related to those questions online, so that maximizes your possibility to answer those questions appropriately during the date of the exam. So so if you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them down below, and I'll answer them as this video goes along. And so with that said, you can also find the name of the selected applicants on the KDU website. Gives you all the Z scores that they achieved. If they've done foreign qualifications, those are also there with the grades that are achieved, so you guys can use all of that as examples for you guys to apply for the next following year. Okay, so with that said, I'm just gonna go through one more round of the qualifications needed for the people that have just come into the group chat. And those are you need to be a citizen of Sri Lanka, you should be unmarried, you should be between the age of 17 to 24 if you have done A-levels. If you're a science graduate, then you can apply up to the age of 27. The minimum requirements in terms of grades, if you're a local student, are of 2 C's and 1 S for biology, chemistry, and physics respectively. If you have done foreign qualifications, like at Excel or Cambridge, 2 C's and 1 D in biology, chemistry, and physics respectively. And they should be set within the same sitting. So if you're a local student doing your who has done the first shy, and now you've done your second shy, your second shy are the grades that are going to be taken. You can't put some grades from your first shy together with the results from your second shy and show those results overall. So they all need to come from that same shy, from that same sitting. On top of that, you also need to have a minimum credit pass for your English language and a minimum of 30 marks for the common general test at the GCSE A-level examination. So those are the general requirements. In terms of course fees, now the course fees has gone up to 15 million, so that's 3 million per year. And the way you're going to be paying this money is that when you are going to be selected on the first year, you should be, or at the day of registration, you need to pay the first 3 million. And by the end of that year, towards October, November, you are required to pay for the next following year. So every year, at the end of the year, around November time, that's when you'll be paying for the next installment. So you can't break down the installments further than 3 million. So they basically take the entire amount of 15 million and break them down into 5 installments of 3 million each. So that means you can't break down the 3 million even further, like for example into 1 million, where 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, so where you're going to be paying throughout the year. Those things are not, there's no possibility to do that here at KDU, so you'll have to pay the full amount as you're registered. Now the thing is, if you're a foreign student, you can't apply as a local student. So that means you'll be categorized as a foreign student, and you'll be asked to pay the 12,500 American dollars that you're supposed to be paying. So these are the two categories, because I know some foreign students have been contacting me regarding the possibility to apply as local students, so that they can pay 3 million instead of the 12,500 American dollars they're supposed to be paid. You can't do that. Once you apply, they'll be segregating you and categorize you as a foreign student instead of a local student, so your application process will be different. Now I see that someone had asked a question. Isn't 2Bs and 1C for London A-levels? Okay, so what the requirements given here are basically for the local students, and those are 2Cs and 1S. Okay, so yeah, so they're saying that it's going to be 2Cs, so 2 credit passes, and 1 simple S for a GCSE A-level examination in the same sitting. And if you have done IGCSEs or advanced A-level as Edexcel or Cambridge equivalent, there should be a minimum of 2Bs and 1Cs in the same sitting. So there's again a change that has happened since the Intake 41 candidates. So they changed that into 2Bs and 1C. Now that's again, it's because there are so many people that have applied for this intake, and the general understanding was that even though the minimum requirements were originally as 2Cs and 1D, a lot of the people that applied had much higher grades, or 3A stars or 3As and 2As and 1B. So those were the people that were selected, and everyone else that had the lower grades were not selected. So even now, even though it's 2Bs and 1C, even if you apply with those grades, most likely the chances are that you are not going to be selected with the 2Bs and 1C. So unless you have as a minimum 2As and 1B, the chances of you being selected are minimum. Again, it depends also on the number of people that will be applying, but trust me, there are going to be a lot of people applying. This year we had 956 candidates, so I suspect that even next year there's going to be that many or even more, now that KDU has made has given the possibility for students to study medicine privately. Even the people that were just sitting at home right now, they'll be doing their shy in order to have the chance to get selected. So there will be a lot more people applying even this time around, so there'll be a lot of competition. So don't go with just the grades given here. You'll have to do so much better than what's given here in the eligibility criteria. So for Z-score wise, if you're a local student, they say 2Cs and 1D, which is a very low Z-score with less than 1, but to be selected, the chances are that you need to be within a Z-score 1.8 or even higher to a Z-score to about 1.5, 1.4 to get the best chances for you to be selected. So with that said, the rest of the application process, there will be 3 papers. One is a multiple choice question on subject knowledge, where they'll also look at IQ and your general knowledge. Paper 2 is an English language test, and paper 3 is a psychometric assessment. So there will be those 3 tests done, and then outside of that there is also an interview. So the interview is going to be assessed in the following way, where 90% of the marks given from that interview will be based on your grades, and 10% of the marks will come from um, will come from sports. So 5% will come from sports, where you should have basically achieved, you should have competed at an international level or national level or provincial level, and marks will be allocated for that. So if you're international level, the full 5 marks will be given there. National level will be 3 marks, and provincial level will be 1 mark. And with that also, leadership will be assessed. That's the next 5%, where cadetting, scouting, or girl guiding, those are the things that they're basically looking for. And there are different criteria for them to give those 5 marks there. And then they'll also be looking at the suitability of you as a future medical student. Do you have the attitude to study medicine, the willingness to study medicine? Your personality will be assessed, and also your communicational skills, because it's not just a matter of you being able to get the right grades, or for you to be smart enough to be able to compete in a very challenging course, but also your commitment, personality wise, and communicational skills. Do you have good communicational skills to speak with patients, to build up a good rapport with the patient, to build up trust between the two of you, and also to work alongside a team? So those are the things that are going to be assessed there. So that's overall in a nutshell the interview process, and basically the entire application process to study medicine. And one thing that they don't say originally is about the course fees and the amount that you're supposed to be paying originally. So at the time of the interview, they will ask basically for you to produce a bank confirmation letter, where you're basically able to pay at least for the first 2 years of the KDU course. So last year it was, so for Intake 41 it was 5 million at the date of interview. So I suspect now for Intake 42, for the date of interview, you're supposed to produce a bank confirmatory letter with at least 6 million, because now it's 3 million per year, it's not 2.5 million per year. Okay, so make sure that obviously if you're applying and you get selected, by the time you're coming to KDU to sit your either the 3 papers or the interview, you have that confirmatory letter. And another thing is, make sure that you're being honest about your application. That's another virtue of being a medical student, that you have to be honest. You need to be able, if you do mistakes, to be able to showcase for those. So make sure that everything that you put down in your application is truthful, and you're able to show them that you have achieved these things, so that by the time you come to KDU to register yourself, you can show them everything. So if you are not able to show any of the information that you put down in your application process, your application will be rejected even if you've been selected. So be truthful, because otherwise it's just going to be a waste of your time and money for applying and for going through an entire process when you know that you're not going to be selected in the first place. Okay, so do you guys have any questions for me? Let's see. I see that Tamindu says hello. Hi, Tamindu. And okay, so since there are no more questions, I'm just going to conclude the video here. But before I go, I want to say everything that I mentioned in this video is available on the KDU website right now. From the information about the entry requirements, about course fees, or anything about the interview process, how you're going to be assessed, how you the papers that you're going to be sitting. There are sample papers, some with answers, some with answers as well. So go through those, download those papers, have a look at them, and make sure that you use all that information. Don't just rely on the videos that you see here and there. Make sure that you take your time, you go through the website, look at all the information yourself so that you understand everything and you can work that way. Okay, so the applications process is not open yet, so to make sure that you get the right date, you'll have to go on the KDU website on a daily basis and see whether there have been any updates to the KDU website. Okay, so the KDU website is kdu at ac.lk, and on the first page, just underneath, if you scroll down, you'll see that it says nice and big. What does it say? It says registration now open for day scholars, intake 42. And if you just scroll a little bit further down, it says MEBS degree for intake 41 and enlistment procedure. If you click that, everything from last year's intake for intake 41, every single process and application procedures is being showcased to you guys, so you'll be able to see it there. Okay, so once again, it's kdu at ac.lk. Hi, so someone is asking, hi, when will the course get started? Now, the course is supposed to start in January. Okay, so we are still very early days. Usually for us, when we applied to study medicine, it was towards the end of September, October. Now this year they started a little bit earlier. Don't know exactly why, but the application process is not open yet, so they will open soon. I don't know exactly the date when, so you'll have to go on the website and look for the daily updates. Okay, and okay, so with that said, what's I gonna say? Yeah, so just make sure that you go on the website and you look for this daily updates, because I keep getting a lot of questions about when's the date, when are they going to open for application processes, and a lot of other questions about details that are already available within the KDU website. Okay, so I don't mind answering those questions, but you need to be more responsible and go to the KDU website and look for those informations yourself. Okay, so again, kdu.ac.lk, that's where you'll find all of those information. So with that said, I'll conclude the video since there are no further questions, and if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I'll make sure to answer those questions for you guys. So with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.